Okay, this is part 2 of lesson 10, using brushes to create a poster. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to create a brush out of a raster image from Photoshop. And so what you want to do is in D2L or on your files, you want to upload the tree.psd file. And then you can go ahead and it'll download. And then what you're going to do is you're going to place it in here. And I'm going to go to the downloads and go ahead and open up the PSD file, and you'll see this image of the tree comes up, and we now have the image pasted here. So then what we're going to do is we're going to go over, and we want to keep it selected, and we want to go over to the brush panel, and right here this icon says new brush, and I'm going to click on that. And we want to call this an art brush. And then I'm going to click OK. And I'm going to call it Palm Tree. And I'll click OK. And then I can go ahead and delete the image I have over here. So then the next thing we're going to do is we are going to go into with the selection tool, and I'm going to select this black curved line. Okay. And if you go to the list here, and I'm going to show list view, you'll see that the palm tree is listed right there. And so I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and you'll see that the palm tree now has come on that curved path. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually edit this brush. So I'm going to double click on the palm tree, and my art brush options for editing come up. And what I'm going to do there is I'm going to click on stretch between guides, and then I'm going to put 5 inches in the start and 6 inches in the end. Okay. And then I'm also going to click on flip across box down here, and then I'm going to click OK. And then when this comes up, I'm going to apply to strokes. And then what I want to do is I'm going to click on the word opacity up here, and then I'm going to go to the blending mode, and I'm going to click on multiply. It just kind of gives a little bit more dimension to the palm leaves. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is using bristle brushes. And the bristle brushes allow you to create strokes with an appearance of a natural brush with bristles. And we can create vector paths with the bristle brush. And we're going to first go into the brush panel, and we're going to select we're going to deselect show art brushes, and we're going to show bristle brushes. Okay. Okay, and then what we're also going to do is you're going to want to open up the bristle brush library so that we can select our brush that we want to use. And we're going to go ahead and put this into a list view. And what we're going to do is we're going to select the round fan brush. Oh, and before we do that, make sure you deselect. Okay. So we get the round fan brush, and what we're going to do is we're going to double click on the icon. And then what we're going to do is we are going to make this 7 millimeters. And the bristle length is going to be 150. The bristle density will be 20. The bristle thickness will be 75. And the paint opacity will remain at 75, and the stiffness at 50, and then click OK. And so now we're ready. We can go ahead and close out the libraries here. And what I'm going to do next is we're going to zoom into the cloud area here. And again, using your space bar, the hand will come up so you can move around in that area. And we are going to make a smoke shape. So I'm going to press the V key and select, oops, this path here. And so then what we're going to do is we're going to remove the fill in the cloud here. And also on your tool panel, we are going to click on Draw Inside. And then what we're going to do, we want to make sure our stroke is white, and we're going to start out at 1 point. And the first, then we want to go back to the brush tool, and then we're, which is the B key, and we're going to go ahead and, oops, we got on the wrong tool here. 1 second here. It had reverted back to the palm brush tool. So I just went ahead and got rid of that. And then now you can see when I'm drawing smoke from the stacks here, we got kind of that nice little smoky pattern going. And so we're going to go ahead and just keep adding different strokes here. And you'll notice that everything stays inside the area here. Okay, so once we get that done, we are going to go ahead and we're going to choose View Outline. And you can see how we have all these different paths that have been created with that smoke outline. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Object or Select Object. And then I want to select Bristle Brush Strokes. And now you notice that just these have been selected. And so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Object Group. And so now all of those brush strokes remain in one group. And then we'll just go back to Preview. We have this preview. And one thing you also want to make sure is go back to the normal, draw normal, so we're not on the inside. And then I'm going to deselect this area. And then I'm going to double click inside the cloud area here, and we're going to change this to no stroke. And I can press the Escape key. And now we have our cloud there. It looks like the stroke's still there though, so let's try this again. Oh, okay, it wants that tree, I guess. Okay, and so you want to deselect that. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add windows to the paths over here on the ship. So what you want to do is I'll go ahead and deselect bristle brushes, and you're going to select pattern brushes. And you'll see that a brush called Window appears here. And what we're going to do, whoops, and make sure that you are deselected, of course. And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to, with the selection tool, with my selection tool, I'm going to click on the paths here, and I have to, here, let me get back to my layers panel and go on the ship and click, I'm going to turn this tree off here so I can do this. And then you're going to shift click so you select both of those. And then we are going to edit the brush properties for these paths right after we select the windows. And you can see that the windows now have appeared on these paths. So now we're going to do the properties. So we're going to click on here and actually cancel that out here. We're going to click on this icon down here of options, selected options button. And we are going to change the spacing on the bottom ones here. So before we do that, deselect and then just select the bottom path. And then you're going to go options of selected object. And then what we're going to do is we're going to change this to 110%. And that should be good. And then click OK. And so we've just kind of moved those a little wider up the area of the boat. Okay, so the next thing is we're going to create pattern brushes out of the two objects that you see outside of your artboard here. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to select this brush right here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go into the brush panel icon. And we're going to click on the panel, and then we're going to click on the new brush option here, and we're going to create a pattern brush. Click OK, and then this option will come up for you. And so you can see that these are you got various segments, etc. here, and in the pattern options, we're going to name this border. And then under the spacing options, okay, so anyways, I had to go back here because I goofed up on one of the steps. They just wanted you to see how you can change the actual appearance of an object. But we're going to go back and make this original. Okay, and then in this last part here, we want to choose Auto Between. And then we are going to click OK. And then we can go back to, if we go back to our list view, you can see we've got the pattern brush in there. And then I'm going to select on the stroke, and I want to make sure I select the pattern brush, and you can see how we've got this nice little pattern. If I go Command 0, we've got the nice pattern along this whole stroke area here. And so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually edit this brush. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take the swatch panel, and we're going to again go View, choose Pattern Objects so we can see the next object. And we're going to select this, 1 second please. Okay, so the phone rang there, sorry about that. Okay, so I have this swatch now created, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag this swatch into my swatch panel, and you'll see that I have a new pattern swatch that came up. So now I'm going to go ahead and deselect the swatch panel. And then what we're going to do in the swatches panel, I'm going to double click this new pattern, and you've got pattern options that come up, and we're going to choose 1 by 1, okay, in the panel here, and then we're just going to okay, and that's fine, and we want to make sure that's it. Okay, and then we can just go ahead and view the whole image into the artboard here. And so now I'm going to go back to the pattern brush, and I'm going to go to the left side here, and there it is. I have a new pattern swatch here, and so I'm going to select that pattern swatch, and then I'm going to change the scale down to 70%. And then I'm going to click OK. And then apply to strokes. And you'll see that now you were able to apply these patterns to the corners of what we created here. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do is we're going to be working with the blob brush. And the blob brush is found underneath the paintbrush tool. And what we're going to do next is we're just going to actually hide this in the ship, and we're going to work on painting more clouds in the background here. And so we want to make sure that we are on the background layer, okay? And we're going to change the fill color to the light blue and the stroke color to none. Okay, and we're going to change the size of our brush to a 70. So what we're going to do is we're going to, so you're going to double click on the actual blob brush tool and change the size to 70. And then click OK. And then we're just going to go ahead and you can see that we draw in the shape. And the nice thing is that with the blob brush tool, you will create closed shapes, okay? And what we can also do is we can also put these shapes together. So go ahead and kind of draw your clouds. And when you're finished, just go ahead and deselect. And you can go ahead and turn. Actually, we're going to show you one other thing too, is we do have the eraser tool that we can use, and I'm going to double click in here as well. And you can change the size of the brush. They want you to put it at around a 40 and then click OK. And the thing is I can actually get in here as well and, whoops, make sure I'm on the, we have to have it selected though. Okay. And then with the blob brush tool, you can paint in there, but you can also remove it as you see in here. Okay, so that's pretty much, again, you have to have it selected there when you're doing the erasing. And if you're having any problems with that, that might be what the problem is. So go ahead and turn it back on, and your poster is complete.